People usually use boxes to store personal items or, in general, material things that have some value to us. And by putting them in the box, what we intend is to protect what we've stored. However, on some occasions, mysterious boxes have been found that had been stored for a long time and because of their contents, should never have been opened. 5. Mumia. In the state of Florida, in the United States, a woman decided after a long time to check the house her parents left her as an inheritance. Just out of curiosity and to see what belongings were in each of the rooms, as well as in other parts of the house, which until then had been uninhabited. When she entered the house, the woman imagined she would find simple things like furniture or personal items, among others, as well as a lot of dust and dirt. That's why, when she was exploring the basement, it seemed very strange to her to see a box that was closed. It looked very ordinary, but very old, and it also seemed to be holding something inside. When the woman opened that box, she found something strange, wrapped in newspapers dating back to the 1950s. And when she removed all of these, she realized that what she had in her hands was a small human mummy, which turned out to be creepy for her, and at first made her doubt whether it was real or not. Due to the discovery, the woman called the police and an investigation began in which it was checked whether the DNA belonged to the woman's father or mother, which finally turned out not to be the case. The entire investigation was kept secret and the information was also kept confidential. But in the end, it was not possible to identify the possible father or mother of that mummy, nor was it discovered what or who had left it there. 4. Grandma's Box. A girl who uses Reddit made a post in which she told the story of how she inherited a house in Germany because she was the only relative of a woman who was actually her great aunt, whom she didn't even know, and who was born in 1921. She was told that the woman's story was quite tragic, since throughout her life she had to move constantly because of armed conflicts like World War I, especially with the arrival of the Russians in Berlin, which forced her to move to Hamburg, among other places where she lived in Germany. When the girl started exploring the house she inherited, she realized that in the woman's room there was a small chest with letters inside from different dates in the 20th century, like 1930 and 1940. However, what surprised her the most was that all those letters had stamps with a swastika, as well as photos of soldiers from the Nazi army, which at first seemed very strange to this girl. In fact, there was even a copy of a book called Mein Kampf inside the chest, which had been written by Adolf Hitler while he was in prison. The girl knew at that very moment that her great aunt, she was actually a member of the National Socialist Party, so it was more than evident that she shared their ideals. And that explained her supposed tragic story, which forced her to constantly change her place of residence. 3. A mysterious box from the dark web. The dark web is a corner of the internet that is not normally accessible through common search engines and browsers. Instead, you have to use other tools to be able to enter. And it's a space on the internet where there is no protection and where there are plenty of pages with forbidden content and even criminal sites that offer completely illegal services. Well, it turns out that there was a time when selling boxes became a trend on this web. Surprises, which came with strange contents and could cost anywhere from $100 to thousands of dollars. They could also have anything inside, and according to the ads from the people selling them, even ghosts and spirits trapped inside, along with other unthinkable things that you could only find in this corner of the web. The YouTube channel, run by a guy named Aaron Weislitz, thought it would be a good idea to buy one of these boxes and do an unboxing and a live video to show everything the box contained. When he did it, Aaron realized that the box contained some surgical gloves and adhesive, a knife with stains of what we can all imagine, and a drill that was also stained. Apparently, these were tools that had been used for some macabre act that they didn't describe clearly. The YouTuber was surprised by the objects he received, and this is shown by his panicked face when he opens the box. 2. The time capsule. In the year 2016, a construction crew in Albuquerque, New Mexico, made a discovery and found a supposed time capsule. A message written by someone from the past for people in the present. Since it was found where there used to be a school, the construction crew thought it might have belonged to a child from that time. He had written a nice message and left it there so that someone in the future could discover it. However, when they read it, they found something much stranger and more disturbing. The message said, "I'm dead, I'm going to school, Montgomery. I was born in 1900 and I like to play the guitar, that string instrument with a board, in case you don't know it." Despite the strange message, no one was worried, until people started saying at the new construction site that they used to see a boy with a guitar who said he went to Montgomery School and that he was born in the year 1900. Apparently, and according to what they say, when the time capsule was open, the ghost of the boy was released. Or at least that's what many people believe because of the letter and the appearance of that boy, who apparently is constantly seen in that area. A sarcophagus from the time of Alexander the Great. In 2018, a group of archaeologists discovered an impressive black granite sarcophagus in Egypt. More specifically in the city of Alexandria, which probably dates back to the time of Alexander the Great, around 350 before Christ. Specifically, the sarcophagus surprised researchers because of its massive size compared to those found previously. Specifically, this object measured almost 3 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, and 2 meters high. Something that apparently is quite impressive when it comes to the size of objects of this type. Aside from that, this sarcophagus had luxurious details, and because of its size, the researchers considered the possibility that they had found the very sarcophagus where Alexander the Great might have been buried. For that reason, they decided to ignore the frequent warnings not to open objects like this because of the curses that might be unleashed. And when they opened it, they noticed that the size had a reason. There wasn't just one skeleton, but 3, and they probably belonged to people from the high society of that time. Currently, scientists are working on discovering whose bodies they are and other details related to the sarcophagus that was found. And something that is not known is whether opening them released any curse. So I guess time will tell. And now, let me know in the comments if you have ever found something strange. And don't forget that you can leave your like and watch one of these 2 videos that I leave for you on the screen.